scale from worst to first, I'm doing phenomenal. Definitely top five over here. How
Good.
are you?
That's awesome. I'm feeling pretty good. I'd say top eight. It's been a decent
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Nothing crazy. Apologies to the audience if you can hear the show. The bands downstairs brought their own sound guys, and I think they want to destroy the entire building with how loud it is. So, apologies in advance. This is the only day we could record. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. We are here to talk some football. And if you've listened to us for the last fucking six
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 years.
years.
Yeah, shit.
Oof, my lord.
Five plus this.
This is our sixth year. So if you've listened to us for the last 5 years, you would know right about this time we would start doing our divisional breakdowns. But we're changing it up, switching up the formula
Oh, shit.
this
Whose idea was
year.
that?
And we're gonna go through the positions actually and kind of talk about all the we're gonna start with quarterbacks. So this week we're gonna talk about all the NFC quarterbacks and how we feel about their situations going into 2026, how we feel about each one. And we're going to try to get a loose kind of ranking of the top 16 to 1 quarterback situations for the NFC. And then we'll do the AFC next week. So bear with us as we try out this new format, something we haven't done before. But we think it should end up being pretty fun. And it make sure that all the teams, if you're a say a Raiders fan or a Steelers fan, you're not waiting till we finally get around to that division to actually hear about your team a little bit. So I think it'll be good. Anything I'm missing on that?
No, man. Yeah, that was a beautiful setup, Christian.
Okay, well, cool. All right, well then, uh, without further ado, we'll get into it. So the NFC quarterback rankings for Rough Draft Research, we're going to start 16 to number one. And I don't think 16 is very hard, but I've been talking a lot, so I'll let you take the lead and let's see if we agree.
Okay, 16. So like some of these teams have depth, like 16 is a contested room
Hmm.
on a team that is not with a solid option whatsoever. So I have the Cardinals. I
Yeah.
guess I'm calling it Jacoby Brissett, or should we be calling it Carson Beck, or should we be just being sad right now for
So
Marvin Harrison Jr.? I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
definitely that. But I have it Jacoby Brissett slash Carson Beck, and this
okay,
was these first couple.
yeah.
I couldn't
What do you
if
say?
there's if I don't know who's going to be the starter by the end of the year,
You're
then
at the
you're at the
bottom.
bottom.
Yeah. Mm,
Because I can't rely on you. Even a bad quarterback, if I know he's going to start 17 games if healthy,
yeah.
then they're over these guys. So yeah, you look at Jacoby Brissett and Carson Beck, and we don't know. We're probably going to see both these guys. We might even see Gardner Minshew
Hmm.
thrown in there at some point. So the Cardinals are actively looking towards 2027. And then even that, like their team's just not that great. Like Marvin Harrison hasn't been the guy they wanted him to be so far. Michael Wilson came on really strong at the end of last year, which was crazy, but I don't see that as some kind of career resurgence going
No.
forward. It was a blip on the radar, in my opinion. So it's like basically Trey McBride or die.
Right.
And then Jeremiah Love can probably add some points out of the backfield because he's that dynamic. But even that they've muddied by having a million running backs on the roster.
Yeah, and they try to do some a little bit to help with the offensive line with a
Hmm.
few free agent acquisitions and some pretty good draft capital for the right guard position. So you could see some improvement
Hmm.
on what was a kind of a shocking year for Brissett last year.
Yeah,
He finished as a quarterback 16
pretty
with over
nuts.
3,300 yards and 23 passing touchdowns. So I guess he did well enough to hold out. Like, this is strange. It's his first time being inside the top 20 his entire career.
Just
And
wild.
he sees the writing on the wall at age 33. This might be his last time to get starter caliber payday. So He's holding on to trying to squeeze it a couple extra mil out of this team, as they do have a skip year headed their way as far as like
Yeah.
competitiveness. So, yeah, that all adds up to yeah, buying your time as a team doesn't really support the greatest optimism.
Yeah.
There's going to be a bad thing if he does well, I think, for the organization.
hmm
So,
I think that's Well,
strange.
yeah, that's why the holdout isn't working very well. Well, first of all, because
Right.
it's Jacoby Brissett, but secondly, it's they're almost like, okay, fine, we'll start Carson Beck and suck. That's the plan anyway. I mean,
Mm.
Jacoby Brissett, I don't think won a game even with playing well. So a lot of it was like garbage time that he built up. He probably won one. I could be mistaken, but so I mean they'd probably be good sucking either way, even if Brissett is the starter. But I don't think they're in a rush to bring him in. I think they'd be fine rolling with Beck or Minshew. So yeah, I mean if you're Jacoby Brissett though, yeah, you look at the 27th ranked pass blocking offensive line last season according to PFF, and you go, no, I'll play behind that and lose a bunch of games if you pay me more money. But why why would I subject myself to that for the cheap deal that he's on now? But it just muddies the whole room and like I don't think there's anywhere else for it to be put than 16
Huh. Yeah, I'm here for it. I agree. I'm trying to see if they won a game or not.
with Brissett.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
I don't think I don't think they did.
okay,
So,
I mean that makes sense to me because he was lighting it up, but it was more just like because they were constantly losing, and it's like he'll throw a bunch, which was fine. I rode him to a roasted
oh,
championship.
they beat the Cowboys in
Okay, they
week
beat the
8.
Cowboys.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. That was it. That was it. Sorry. Sorry for yelling.
No, you're fine. But yeah, I feel like that's enough about the Cardinals. So I'll
Yeah,
pitch I'll pitch out
forget
my
about him.
15 and see if you
Okay.
agree. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a similar conversation. To me, it's a muddied broom, so it's not going to be first, and that's Michael Penix and Tua down in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. That's
Okay.
exactly where I was going with 15 as well.
Yeah, to me, the only reason they're ranked higher than the Cardinals, there's a couple, I guess, like two reasons. They'll be competing for a playoff spot because of the division they're in, so
True.
they're going to be trying a lot
Oh,
harder.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I like the weapons better. Drake London's obviously a stud, just got paid, recently
Right.
paid Drake London. You got Kyle Pitts, you got
Money.
Bijan out of the backfield, and I like Jahan Dotson and Zachariah Branch as like some scat pieces to go with. I mean, they could definitely use a better wide receiver number two, but to me, there's worse rooms in the NFL. And so like that's it really. That's the only reason I have them above Brissett and Beck. But yeah, you don't know who it's going to be. Penix obviously coming off the injuries, and two of the most injury prone QBs in the league at this point.
Hmm.
So even if one is playing well, there's no guarantee that he'll stay on the field.
Yeah, you can almost like add them together and probably have a decent squad. But here in the fantasy world, where we're primarily concerned, yeah, we're not gonna see anything major coming out of this quarterback room. Penix, I think, has a lot of potential.
hmm
And then you got to remember we're changing over to Kevin Stefanski,
Yep.
so that kind of leans towards hopefully a better run game and some solid tight end play, which those are strengths of this team, but not necessarily outstanding quarterback play coming through from that history. So we'll see what happens. But he hasn't been consistent. He hasn't been consistently good or consistently healthy. And Penix, and then you've got Tua, who, I mean, in his hot streaks is red hot, but we have to think the coaching staff and the way that scheme was ran in Miami was supporting that, and I don't think it translates to high volume excitement here. So it's going to be a rough
Yeah.
road, and
It's
not much else improved on this team,
no.
unless you like Juwan Taylor.
No,
Uh,
yeah, I'm with you. So we're probably going to see both these guys at some point, unless
for
I
sure.
I would think if Penix comes out and gets the starting role, which to be fair, all we've heard is Stefanski talking up to his accuracy so far. Now I think Penix still hurt, So he might not have had a chance to go out there yet, I don't believe. But yeah, if Penix gets the start, I do think he'll have a decent runway because he is younger, and has that capital. But it wasn't Stefanski that picked him, which is worth noting. So I do
True.
think if he stumbles at all, we will end up seeing Tua, which means you can't rely on this quarterback room, which ranks him 15th. I do think we should say this is obviously we'll mention some dynasty aspects, but this is more geared towards just how we feel about this upcoming season, 2026, less about Dynasty. I think just knowing our brains, Dynasty probably knocked these guys up a couple notches if we like their Dynasty value, but
True.
this is mostly for 2026.
Yep, I'm with you. There might be some old timers that are still burning hot that get a little bit of snooze from that situation, but yeah, we got to see what we got in 2026. What have you done for me lately? Is
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. So,
for sure.
hate
So,
to say it, that's a weird segue. This one is probably going to get controversial.
okay.
Ouch, man, I feel it. I'm probably this is going to make everybody sad. I've already changed my mind about this one, but I have because I had to do it some way or another. I put Brock Purdy
Whoa.
as as 14.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's gonna
I
be our biggest discrepancy. I can already tell. Holy cow.
yeah, that's
Okay, explain that to me. I gotta. Maybe you'll knock him down a few pegs for me.
I haven't been that impressed. I think that he had that great year 2023 where he threw 31 touchdowns and 4,200 yards. Obviously, he's been struggling to stay on the field, but the team around him is phenomenal, right? With Mike
Uh-huh.
Evans, and then you've got CMC and Kittle. But the depth in the wide receiver room, I'm not sure is at the same caliber as it was in 2023. And I don't know if we can trust him as a playmaker. The reason I'm kind of hating on him is because I was really impressed by Mac Jones last year. And
Uh-huh.
I think that if things get weird, if there's any kind of hesitation about Brock Purdy, we could see some competition for that starting job. And I just don't think he has it locked down necessarily. But I could
Wow.
be wrong. This is a hot take. This is a hot take. He was definitely not in my top 10. And then
Wowie,
so,
wowie, wow.
yeah, a
Okay.
little, yeah, we can just, we can talk about him at your spot. What do you got him in the
Well,
top 10?
I got him in the top five, big dog.
What the hell, man?
I just look at a
That's
guy who
incorrect.
I
I was
mean,
just gonna,
he was top five in points per game last season. He came out hot towards the end of the year, absolutely crushing it, and was dealing with injuries not just with himself, but also inconsistencies all around him last season with the injury bug. And I do like Evans and Kirk and Pearson's dribbling more than what they had last year. Plus, they'll get Kittle coming back at some point, and then CMC is just a cheat code. My only real knock on him, to be honest, was the fact that he's going to play the Seahawks and the Rams twice, which obviously the Myles Garrett trade makes the Rams even crazier to play against. But I mean, shit, he missed quite a bit of last year, and obviously
that's true.
it didn't end up as like a top QB in terms of overall points, but he was at 20.8 points per game. He was fifth,
Yeah,
above
no,
Trevor
he had
Lawrence.
20 touchdowns in 9 games. It's a pretty good year for him. I just don't like him. I just don't like
That's
him.
fair.
He didn't impress me.
Well, I had him at number four.
Oh God.
So there's a
That's fine.
pretty big discrepancy there. But so we won't have to talk about him much when I get up to number four. But that's
Okay.
interesting. My 14 was a guy who I really want to be good, but the numbers just aren't lining it up for me, and that's Bryce Young.
Okay.
Um, I think he looked good towards the end of the year. He looked great in the playoffs against the Rams. Um, but like I do feel like he's starting to get some swagger to him. I feel like he was a little lost when he first got there, and then he had the whole benching situation. Um, and it's just been a weird career, but I feel like he's starting to get that confidence back in himself. It just seems that way. But I mean, 14.3 points per game is still what he had, which puts him down at 29th behind Aaron Rodgers, right in front of JJ McCarthy. That's even with his good games, obviously. And then he's never finished higher than a QB 19, and that was last year. And the only thing they really did was add Chris Brazzell, which is a guy that I don't think particularly fits his skill set very well. Um, I
It's
mean,
true.
I could be wrong. I could end up being wrong, but I mean they didn't add really anybody on the offensive line other than a center.
Hmm.
They didn't they took a right tackle in the first round. So we'll see how that goes. And then a center as well in the fifth round. But then Brazel was the only guy they added through the draft in terms of weapons. They lose Rico Dowdle. They're going to Chuba Hubbard, who I like, and then hopefully we can see some Jonathan Brooks to help the running game out. But I mean, he's still lining up with the same receivers he did last year. I just don't see much that makes me believe that he's going to be much better fantasy wise for from what he was last year.
You don't think year two with Canales, man? Get it going?
Maybe wouldn't this be year three? Is this not year
Is it
three?
year three?
I thought it was year three.
Yeah,
Hang
you're
on.
probably right. Look at me, dude. Obviously, we're never gonna be able to see eye to eye after this Brock Purdy thing. So
Let me see here. I'm pulling this up right now. But yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Like,
well, for me, I
go ahead.
had
Yeah.
sorry, yep, Young. I had him at number 11.
Okay. So not too
Um,
too terribly far.
no,
It is
pretty
year
close.
three for Canales.
Oh, look at you, dude. All over it. Like you're saying, they didn't really do much to change the offense, but I think he was definitely getting in his rhythm. He had highs and lows,
Hmm.
and kind of had a strong finish to the year. I think if they can just keep going, Tet in year two, I think is in for a huge leap, and some consistency in the running back position might help out. I like Brazel. I agree that he wasn't the sexiest name, and he doesn't necessarily play towards the skill set of Young. I was really surprised we didn't see some new blood in the tight end room
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
draft, but that's fine. I do think Young's going to settle in and kind of shake off more going into his age 24 season. He's kind of
Yeah.
young
He's
for
still young. Yeah.
yeah. So I think
Young is young.
he's always going to be young.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah,
Shoot.
I hope so. For the record, there's few people I want to see do better than Bryce Young, and mostly just because of how his career started. And I don't know. I like him. I think I don't know that he's ever going to be at the upper echelon of fantasy quarterbacks, but I'd like to see him do well. So I hope I'm wrong, but the numbers just were screaming at me that I couldn't have him much higher than this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I tried to push him up. I had a weird approach to this whole thing that obviously Brock Purdy suffered majorly
He did. Yeah.
from
Holy
my
cow.
approach. Yeah, I did like three tiers, like top five, top 10,
Okay.
not top 10. And I don't know, somehow I must have overlooked some Brock Purdy stuff. You can call me out for my rush job, but you want me to go with my number
Yeah. Let's
13
see who
guy?
you got us at 13.
This one I had Tyler Shuck.
Okay. I have him at 12.
Okay.
So we're right there.
Yeah, I'm actually more optimistic than that 13 would really,
Imply. Yeah.
yeah, imply, but it's hard for me to push him up any higher. Obviously, they had Jordan Tyson, which has some really strong implications for assisting a guy who was pretty lights out,
Hmm.
as far as the way he walked in unexpectedly and just took over mid-season and established himself some pretty high-end, consistency and a lot of grit. I think he impressed a lot of people. Some ability as a rusher, and he only threw 10 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
So he just needs to be on a team that's scoring, and you could see the fantasy value really go up from here. So kind of a diamond in the rough
Yeah.
with a little bit of potential, but honestly, just a capped ceiling being on the Saints.
Yeah, that's kind of where I landed. I was never a big Shuck fan. Anybody that listens to this podcast would know coming out of college, and he impressed me last season, 14.9 points per game, despite having one of the worst lineups in the league in terms of weapons, maybe that I've ever seen. Like outside of Chris Olave, he had dust and not much else. So yeah, you bring in Tyson, you bring in even Bryce Lance, Baron Brown is a name that's not talked about a lot, but I could see him potentially at least being like a rotational guy that's better than what he had last year. And then Oscar Dell, bring in Noah Fant
Yep.
from Cincinnati. They still have Johan Johnson. Bring in Travis Achan to pair with Alvin Kamara. So I like it. You know, I think his points per game should go up. Like you're saying, only had 10 touchdowns. You would think that would go up more. So I'm at least willing to give him a shot. That's why I got him at 12. I don't believe that hard, at least in terms of the fantasy value. I still think the Saints are going to be fairly ass. I know a lot of people are touting them as like a potential sleeper candidate. If they weren't in the NFC South, I don't think anyone would be thinking that, but I could see them sneaking the division out potentially, I guess. But
Ouch.
I
It's
don't know.
offensive.
I just don't. I've never been a Tyler Shuck guy, and I think his rookie season was good in spite of where he was at, which I think impressed a lot of people, but I don't think it was like that great overall.
Sure.
Um, so my 13 might be a shocking name, but I don't think it should be. It's Sam Darnold. Um, Look, Sam Darnold had the Offensive Player of the Year JSN last year, and he still only averaged 14.7 points per game. And do we think that's going to get better in 2026? Is it going to get better than JSN having one of the best seasons for a wide receiver that we've seen in a while, winning Offensive Player of the Year? And I just, at the bottom line, I just don't think that's what the Seahawks want from Darnold. They take Ja'Jarian Price in the first round. I feel like they're going to run the ball, use that defense to smother people, and do exactly what they need to be. And the load will not be on Sam Darnold's shoulders most of the time, nor should it be. And that worked pretty damn well for him last year. You know, they end up winning the Super Bowl, having one of the best teams in the league, with Sam Darnold ending, like I said, in terms of points per game, only at like just under 15, which puts him 27th in terms of points per game. And he played the whole year. It
Wow.
was good. He played well, but they just didn't ask him to do that much. And I don't think that's going to change all of a sudden, especially after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here is they didn't do anything to improve the
Mm-hmm.
offense. Instead, they lost to the Super Bowl MVP out of the backfield, and they have an injured veteran as in the Zach Charbonnet. So if we're expecting them to repeat what they did last year, it all lies on the defensive side of the ball. But you like to hope that you can slot something in to take advantage of the attention Jansen draws, and Cooper Kupp didn't necessarily perform in that role, and he's being asked to maintain that role. So, yeah, it doesn't really bode well for Darnold. As far as fantasy hype goes,
Yeah.
it's pretty much nothing. I got him at 12
Okay.
as
So
well.
just
So,
flip-flopped those two guys for us. So yeah,
mhm.
I think Sam Darnold's playing well enough to be a franchise guy, obviously. And he's earned that.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
great.
and I think he'll continue to be just in terms of fantasy.
No,
I don't really buy it.
can't do it.
Um, all right, so we flipped 12 and 13 there. All right. So I'll go with number 11 and this ooh baby. This is not how I thought I would come down when I did this and it hurts my heart, but at number 11 I've got Jordan Love.
Oh,
Um
shit.
let me before we do this,
Okay.
I still believe that Jordan Love can be a top five QB fantasy player like he was in 2023. I legitimately still
Hmm.
believe that. And especially, I like the passing structure of this offense better. I think it was a little scatterbrained over the last few years. And while that worked, it didn't lend itself to consistency a lot of times. You're bringing random guys in and out. I get that
Yeah.
keeps them fresh and whatnot, but it also throws off the rhythm a little bit. I like better going in with Watson, Reed, and Golden, and then a returning Tucker Kraft. I think that's a great cast of weapons. Obviously, we'll figure out what's going on with Josh Jacobs in the running back room. That's a little weird. But to me, the problem it's opportunity for Jordan Love. Since he took over in 2023, the Packers were 15th in passing attempts. In 2024, they were 30th, and this past season in 2025, they were 27th in passing attempts. It just it doesn't work for fantasy. It works well, like we win games. Jordan Love has good games. He keeps us in stuff. He wins games for us. I love him as the quarterback of the Packers, but in terms of fantasy, I feel like LaFleur needs to let him rip it more. And I just don't know if that's going to happen ever. I think it should. I would love to see it. Maybe the Josh Jacobs situation will force him into throwing the ball more. Um, I do think in terms of upside, if that happens, if they let him throw the ball more, I absolutely think he could get back up to where he was his first year as a starter, and be in that upper echelon of especially NFC quarterbacks, but even just quarterbacks fantasy in general. But and I do think he's like a buy low dynasty candidate, buy low redraft or draft low redraft candidate as like a second QB to see if they get hot and let him go. But like again, if I'm looking at the numbers, like it just has showed that he'll have good games for you. He can be a weekly kind of think about starter, but in terms of consistently being a fantasy asset, it just hasn't happened the past 2 years. And until I see that change, like I can't rank him above the rest of the guys in the NFC, fantasy wise.
You're crazy, man. You're insane. I'm going to tell you this, dude. That's your home team. And you're telling me the points per game difference between Jordan Love and Brock Purdy was 1.5.
Yeah.
And you got him at 11? Is that what I'm hearing?
Where do you see that? 16.1 points per game for Jordan Love,
I got
20.8 for Brock Purdy
I
on
got
Fantasy Pros.
16.5 and 18.1 on Pro Football Reference.
Interesting. Well, there's some
Mm.
kind of discrepancy there.
That's
Um,
well, here we go.
because it's a 4.5 or more
Yeah.
point difference,
Okay.
according to Fantasy Pros. But
Well, either way, this I have Jordan Love at 5.
oh wow, I
So
love that.
I'm a believer, man. Yeah, I think that it's easily within reach. He was at 5 in his last full season. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, there's a lot more clarity in the wide receiver room. Obviously they believe in Watson. They just gave him a big extension, and they
Hmm.
must know his health is stabilized. And I think they have really a really nice set of three wide receivers that could
Yeah.
easily, I feel like any of them could be the number one on a needy team, maybe not like an alpha number one, but they have three guys that I think are interchangeable as far as leading
Hmm.
this wide receiver attack. And if you add in an elite tight end on top of that, I think the ball's going to be moving. The ball's going to be rolling. He does have, some rushing upside that he needs to tap into. He
Yeah, he
didn't
does.
score any on the
Hmm.
ground at all last year. I feel like that's something that could easily boost his results, and I think it's definitely possible. Let's say Brock Purdy had 3 rushing touchdowns last year. You move those 3 rushing touchdowns over to Jordan Love, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
we're looking a lot closer here. Bridges the gap that I'm seeing.
Hmm.
But no, that's interesting.
I
But yeah,
believe in his ability to do it
I
for
don't know. I'm not
like,
doubting that.
but I don't know. I don't know. I guess I try. Maybe I was being overly objective. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I
You were like you wanted him to prove you wrong.
yeah, pretty
And
much. Like
that's a big fan stance
no,
right there.
if this was just a ranking of the NFC quarterbacks and you're taking fantasy out of it, he would be
Hmm.
easily in the top five, if not top three to me. Because I in terms of efficiency and the way he's played, I think he is clearly a guy in this league. But I don't know, just something about the fantasy side of it got me shook this year. But I hope you end up right.
Hey, I feel like I'm shooting from the hip here, in my June. So now interesting. We're getting to number 10. Is that correct?
What's your 11?
My 11 was Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Okay, so then yeah,
Yeah.
we're at 10.
Okay. For me at 10, I have
Okay,
Kyler
me too.
Murray.
Hey, I also have
Hey,
Kyler Murray at 10.
well, hey, no fighting today. Yeah, I mean, Kyler has been, 10 or higher in
Mm-hmm.
any season that he played more than 11 games. So look at that, cherry picking some stats for you. And I mean, it's very clear to me, to you, to us, that he's going into what
Mm.
is kind of a turnkey
Yeah.
operation
Yeah.
as far as I mean, this is kind of like it's kind of lucky move here if he can get the health straightened out. Only had 5 games last year, and who knows if they just had him on ice or whatever. But Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, it's obviously a pretty sweet setup. He proved he could utilize the tight end in good spots. You got T.J. Hawkinson here, and then you got the madman himself, Kevin O'Connell. So for me, Kyler might be in and up in one of his best situations that he's been in, and he still has the wheels. He still has the instincts as a
Mm-hmm.
rusher. Even 2 years ago, he put up 572 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground. Just really incredible scrambling ability. So yeah, I think they activate it, they tap into it. I kind of think it's night night to JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, for sure.
and I think, yeah, we're gonna have some. I don't think this is a 1 year thing with Kyler. I think there's a lot of potential here for him to kind of kick ass with the Vikings.
I think so too. I honestly feel like I should be higher on him for
Me
all the
too.
reasons you said. I can't get there for some reason, especially for a
Well,
guy. Go
but
ahead.
the next 3 names up for me could easily, I mean, in my heart, I believe Kyler will leapfrog them if he
Mm,
just does
what he
what's
can do.
available to him.
Yeah.
But
'Cause, yeah, I mean, you're right. Because there is a lot here. I mean, obviously, Justin Jefferson is going to be the best wide receiver he's ever played with. Kevin O'Connell is going to be the best coach he's ever played with.
yeah.
Uh,
But
Jordan Addison.
Hopkins though,
Justin Jefferson's better than DeAndre
all right,
Hopkins
all
for
right,
sure.
all right, all right.
Yeah, and we can debate that on
Okay,
another episode.
yeah,
Jordan Addison and Jawan Jennings though rounds out a great triple of wide receivers, and then like you said, the rushing game is gonna, I think, be really spicy to Kevin O'Connell because they didn't have much of a running game to speak of last year, and then they didn't bring much
yeah.
in to really change that. I love my boy Aaron Jones, but he's on the twilight of his career. Jordan Mason's always been kind of a lukewarm figure to me. Uh,
Viper.
and so, Kyler should get a chance to run the ball around. And yeah, for a guy that has 4 top 10 finishes in 7 years, you'd think I would be more into him. You'd think I'd have him higher, but I just can't get there for some reason.
Yeah,
But I do like Kyler and his potential there. I mean, the rushing upside helps him a lot. If he didn't have that, if he was starting to lose the legs, then I wouldn't even have him above 12, 11 and 12 for this. But I mean that gives him such an edge when it comes to fantasy that I think you got to put him up there.
dude's only 28.
Yeah, which is so surprising. Feels like he's
It's
been in the
crazy.
league forever.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It really comes down to the Vikings defense
Yeah.
on his ceiling. He could be a top 5 in the league easy. if they have to do it, but
Yeah.
they may not have to.
Yeah, they may not. That defense is nasty up in the NFC North is going to be a lot of fun this year. Let's just put it that way.
Always is.
All right, so the nine for my number nine, I've got heading down to Florida way. I've got Baker Mayfield at number
Yeah,
nine.
same,
Same?
same.
Okay,
Yeah,
makes sense. I mean, he's got one of the easiest schedules this year in terms of last year's winning percentage. Go look at the sleeper app and look at his schedule. It's like all green matchups for him. He's obviously in a weak division that he gets to play six times. And then, as much as we like Bucky Irving and Kenny Gainwell, they're both like receiving guys that can run a little bit. Bucky's obviously a higher end runner than Kenny Gainwell, but they both catch passes and they're not really like workhorses in the backfield, especially with Bucky's injury history already. So they lose Mike Evans, which is huge, but they still have Ibuka, who I think is going to take a great step in year two. Chris Godwin, again, maybe on the twilight of his career as well, but still good. And I like Jalen McMillian. And then they added the farthest small school standout in RDR bracket history in Ted Hurst. And they don't really
what
use
a
the tight end
footnote.
room that much. But but yeah, I like Baker's potential. Obviously, he doesn't get a lot of the rushing upside of some of these other quarterbacks, but I mean, he's going to throw a lot, and he's proven to be really consistent when he does it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the dude's just like playing every game, like, you know, with this giant chip on his shoulder, still
Hmm.
to this day. And the weapons, while Mike Evans is gone, they're not necessarily diminished.
Yeah.
It was like there was too much talent in the room, and so they did what they had to do. You can't pay all the best wide receivers to stay in one town unless you're the Rams or whatever. But yeah, no, yeah, you nailed it on Baker, and nailed the ranking there with nine. I like
Hey.
that. Yeah, I think you're onto something.
Nice. Well,
So
who you got at eight?
eight, I have the Goffrey, Jared Goff.
Okay. I have him at seven,
Okay.
so not too
It's
far.
not too, yeah, not too far. He's like, and this is it's kind of rude, because this is NFC, right? So like we're
Hmm.
saying, top 16 in the league, where he's been, top 10 the past 4 years,
Yeah.
and not too much in the way of diminished uh cast as far as his skill position group goes. So. We saw him transition off of, the greatest play caller in human history, Ben Johnson, and really didn't miss too
Yeah.
much. As far as his yardage total and touchdown total, he's still the top side of the league with, mid 30s both years and over 4,500 on the yard total. So yeah, you don't see it necessarily anything coming around to hinder his upside. If anything, I mean, we're going to have Gibbs on the field more now with Montgomery out. So, or Montgomery out of town.
Hmm.
So there's potential for even more passing work to go to the running back room. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but you can project it
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be true if you're going to join me on this one.
Hmm.
Uh, Seen a little bit of action in the offensive line department that could give him a little bit of a bump. So
Hmm.
maybe that eight. Yeah, I think I'm with you on putting him up at. Do you have at seven?
Yeah, I have him at seven. It has a lot to do with what you said. I mean, like you said, since 2022, he's been 10th, 7th, 6th, and ninth, just super consistent. And then nothing really changed. I do think Gibbs offers a little bit more if he's on the field more in the terms of the receiving ability that Jared Goff can use, and then hopefully an improved offensive line for the Lions. And then also, I think what gave him just a little bit of the edge over, well, when I talk about my eight, a little bit of the sniff test for my eight, as well as the Lions have the sixth easiest schedule in terms of winning percentage, if you're looking at the guys from last season. So I just think they're going to roll quite a bit. I mean, not against everyone. They still have some hard games on there, but I just think that they're going to have a much easier time this season in terms of winning games and moving the ball. So it gave him that little edge. I think seventh makes sense, at least to me.
Sure.
Um, Going into my eight, I've got Jackson Dart at eight.
Okay.
And when healthy, he was averaging 17.9 points per game, which was really, really good. Puts him at 14th in terms of that statistic. And a lot of it was due to his rushing success. You know, he had 9 touchdowns on the ground,
Yeah.
and he was running quite a bit. I guess I'm skeptical that that's gonna be super repeatable. And him staying healthy, just the way he runs, and then I don't know that John Harbaugh is going to want that to happen. Obviously, he had Lamar, but Lamar is a different animal. And his passing numbers just weren't good. I mean, 2,272 yards, 15 touchdowns in 14 games played. Like, obviously, he didn't start all those, but that's still not great. It's 162 yards per game and just over a touchdown in terms of throwing the ball. So if you take that rushing down even a little bit, that points per game goes down pretty far. And then the neighbors of it all, the Malik neighbors this offseason, we've heard basically nothing but bad stuff. Multiple surgeries. We don't know if he's going to be back to start the season, and he got hurt fairly early last season, so that's not great. So all of that's pretty disheartening. And then they just shotgun blasted every wide receiver that they could find from 2016 onto their roster right now. They go
Yeah.
out like you want me to
Like,
sign. You want me to sign up for a guy that's going to be thrown to Darius Slayton, Calvin Austin, old man OBJ,
uh,
Juju Smith-Schuster, Darnell Mooney, and then admittedly Malachi Fields is a lottery ticket
Braxton
there.
Barrios, dude.
Braxton Berrios, yeah, I forgot you. Sorry, Mr. Berrios. So I'm definitely lower on consensus or lower on Dart than consensus is. I do think there's upside, but just something about the Giants is not passing that sniff test to me, and that's why I have him at 8 instead of any higher.
Yeah, so the rushing work is that's incredible, for what he was doing. That's, 64% chance that he's gonna score a rushing touchdown is not realistic. That's,
Yeah.
higher than Hurts, possibly higher than Allen. You'll have to stay tuned next week to find out. Um, but I feel you, man. It does feel a little wishy-washy, a little frightening. But he played most of his best games without Neighbors last year. So I
Yeah.
think that he has the
But
potential to go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, but a lot of that was due to Wandale, man. Him and Wandale were eating it up, and Wandale's gone.
That's true. But I mean, Harbaugh brought in Isaiah Likely.
True.
That's a huge
Yeah.
upside tight end.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. I think that you have to value him.
Yeah. That's
You have to
fair.
value the return of Scatterboo, a full-time
Yeah.
Scatterboo. So I think that Neighbors is going to be out there by week 4, week 5.
Hopefully.
And
Yeah.
and we have the potential to see something effective. That would be really heartbreaking if it was just the Wandell magic. But I think that Dart has, he has the competitive nature to
Yeah.
find a way to succeed. And so I'm just
I
keeping
believe
him
that.
in the forefront of my optimism. I have him at 6.
Okay. So not
So
crazy far.
yeah, he's your 8.
8. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So we don't, there's not really a debate there. That's
Yeah.
ballpark.
Okay.
Okay.
So then, who was your 7 then?
I have Stafford at 7.
Stafford. Wow.
Yeah, what do you got him at number 1 or something?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn, you're crazy, dude. I like your style, but I just gotta I don't
Okay. Well, let's hear
honestly.
it.
Okay, here we go. I'll do better next week, maybe. Maybe not. Honestly, this is more about the guys ahead of him
Yeah.
than it is
That's
him.
fair.
But in my defense, Jackson Dart was one of the guys I had ahead of him. Okay, he's coming off of the quarterback 3
Hmm.
last year. Wow, very impressive. 46 touchdowns. Wow, very impressive. But like the years before that, 1915, it's not necessarily the standard for him to be doing that well. I
Hmm.
understand that it's in the realm of possibilities. I understand that he has probably the best 1-2 wide receiver room in the whole galaxy, and that's great. But this is also where a little bit of that Dynasty podcast got
Yeah,
in my head
that's
with
fair.
age 38. You also consider first round draft capital for Ty Simpson. Like, am I the only
Hmm.
one that's, kind of getting cold feet on what we're doing with Stafford? But really, it's a matter of keeping Adams and Puka performing at that high level because they don't really have much to back that up.
Mm.
In my opinion, we saw the running back room wasn't really as potent as we were anticipating it. They didn't do anything to address that.
Hmm.
You got CJ Daniels here, and then Jordan Whittington. So you're really counting on a 38-year-old quarterback that has missed some time over the past few years. An aging Adams, and then Puka, who has missed time here and there. I just don't think that three is what we should be expecting out of Stafford. I think he's gonna not necessarily come down from the quarterback that he is, but I do think that, 46 touchdowns is a little rich. That was the best season of his career, and for
Hmm.
him to match it, I don't necessarily expect that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard to argue with any of your points, especially when mine is basically just a vibes thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude, vibes win Super Bowls, dude.
so
Just
my
ask
whole,
Sam Darnold.
yeah, my whole thing is okay, yeah, I get they brought in Ty Simpson. That honestly probably lit a little bit of a fire in him. But then they paid him and then they traded for Myles Garrett. So I think it's
Yeah,
just like a full send for the Rams. And so I don't feel like they're gonna like take their foot off people's throats or like try to play it safe here. They're going for it. And with them not changing anything in terms of the passing game, I mean, Adams, yes, he's getting older, but he's an incredible red zone weapon, and I
of
don't think
course.
that's changing because
No,
it's not like he was ever like out athleting anybody or anything like that. Like he's been a technician his entire career, and that shit's not going away. Puka, as long as he's on the field and not getting arrested for something crazy, that's not going away. Kyron gets a lot of dump offs that take Stafford to another level. And to be honest, because their running game was so inefficient in terms of scoring and stuff like that, that just helped him throw touchdowns. Now, I'm with you. The health is obviously a concern. And then with that defense potentially being stellar, they may just blow the doors off people and may have to just take it easy a little bit instead of what they were doing last year. There were some shootouts that they got in that may not be shootouts this year because they actually have somebody that can rush the passer at a level of Myles Garrett. But it's not like they didn't have pass rushers. I mean, Jared Verse was great. Byron Young was great. Kobe Turner's great from the interior. So they had guys. So I don't know. I I hear and understand everything that you're saying. I just feel like there's at least one more nuclear season from Matthew Stafford. Now, maybe is he the QB3? Probably not. You're probably right. Am I ranking him on vibes and maybe recency bias and
you
maybe
said you have him at number one.
I did have him at number one.
Okay,
I
all right.
do.
Just
I
wanted
mean,
to ask.
he would have been based on last year. He is, and
Yeah,
it was
no,
one
he
year going to
is the
make a big
top.
difference. I don't know, but we'll see. I hear you. I probably shouldn't have had him that high, but
You're
um,
good.
who
This
knows?
is, that's why I was telling you. We shouldn't have called out the numbers, man. That's all
No, it's fine.
No, this
It's
is
fine.
perfect. This is it. So where are we now? I
We
said my seven, and now,
Yeah, so we
so
can go to six.
okay,
I have Caleb Williams at six.
okay,
Um,
yeah, sure.
and look, I'm obviously a hater.
Yeah, this is
Um,
also a vibes take, but a
uh,
negative vibes. Okay, I got it.
But no, I mean the numbers can't be denied. I don't think you can put him against anybody. I'm gonna put him in front of anybody. I'm gonna put him in front of now. But I mean, you can't deny the numbers. He was averaging 19 points per game last season, which has was had him tied. He was tied for eighth in that number. Um, Loveland and Burden both were starting to heat up towards the end of the year. I obviously still believe in Rome Odunze. The offensive line was one of the better ones ranked last year. They finished the season as third for PFF. I do think Williams should maybe complete more than 58% of his passes. Maybe start games a little faster and not be losing like nine out of the games that they won and had to come back. They also are going from one of the easier schedules in the league to one of to the hardest schedule in the league in terms of last year's winning percentage. And I also just doubt he's gonna get the ball as many times as he did last year to make all this crazy stuff happen. The Bears led the league in turnover differential last year in 2025, which is a famously fickle stat. I went back to 2020, and of the 30 spots that were like in the top five in turnover differential for that time period, only six teams were ever in the top five more than once, and only Pittsburgh did it more than twice. Pittsburgh did it four times during that stretch. Shout out Pittsburgh. That's pretty crazy. But like most teams don't do that again. So if you're not giving them the ball 100 times and he's not doing all this stuff, yeah, you're right. It is a vibes thing for me. I don't think the Bears were as good
That was a
as
joke. It was purely a joke.
as they looked last year. I don't think you lose. You get obviously it's not luck. The teams they stuck together, they did what they had to do and won all those games that they were losing. But part of that is luck. Like it's not all gonna happen the right way again. And I just don't I'm not ready to put him there in front of just these other guys. I mean, shit, there's five guys in front of him, and one of them's the MVP. Obviously, you don't like Brock Purdy, but he's been better than him.
That's a vibes thing, all right? Damn it, dude. If you can do
But
vibe shit, I can do
yeah,
vibe
that's fair.
shit.
That's fair. But I think Caleb Williams is gonna have a good season, but I don't know. I think we're throwing him into the echelon of these other superstars just a tad too early. I guess I just want to see it. But I'm a hater, obviously. The G on the head.
No, it's good, man. Do what you do. It's easy to hate on Caleb. I think it's part of the narrative that the script writers have, perfectly summed for us here. I think that it's easy to get upset about his completion percentage being hot garbage.
Yeah,
That's obviously not something that's going to make anybody,
yeah. And I know the
optimistic.
Bears did have a lot of drops for what that's worth. They did have quite a few drops, so it's not all on
That's
him.
true. They dropped DJ Moore, so that should help that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
true.
I mean, you're talking about turnovers. He had six
Sure.
interceptions
Yeah.
as a rookie with the garbage
Hmm.
Eberflusings of the world, and then went to seven,
Yeah.
with Ben Johnson. The attempts, even in that trash rookie year were within, 10 of his
Hmm.
attempts last year. Statistically, there was improvement as far as efficiency, touchdown scored, and just the overall
Hmm.
offensive output of this team. And I think that if we go into a third year, I think we're going to increase the scoring output. I think the
Hmm.
efficiency is going to improve. I do think the catch rate or the completion percentage has to be something they're focusing on. And I think if there's any improvements to be made, that he could improve
Yeah.
on what he's done the past 2 years. He was the quarterback five last year, guys.
Hmm.
So we got to be cognizant of that, and for all these reasons I have him as two in the NFC because of the consistency from year to year,
Hmm.
and what I would have considered a big boost with the Ben Johnson ad hasn't really materialized as far as the fantasy output for Caleb, but we know the system's good. I think that maybe this is me being selfish, but I think the Luther Burden
Hmm.
hype has to, that's either going to be, I don't think there's any middle of the road for Luther Burden. I think he's going to be extremely successful, or they're going to have to figure out something else immediately in
Hmm.
2027. So I'm kind of cheering for Luther Burden. Obviously, we love Rome at Dunze. And obviously, we're still tasting crow on the Loveland stuff from this time
Yeah. Oh
last
yeah.
year.
Jeez.
But yeah, I don't think you can take much away from Caleb as far as poking holes in his potential.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. His turnover worthy plays, according to PFF, is 19. So that throws a bit there. He also threw 5 interceptions in the postseason, and they still ended up winning against the Packers and barely lost to the Rams. So I don't think he's un infallible. And I don't know. Like to me, okay, so the guys that are in front of him, two of them have tremendous rushing upside, and two of them. One of
Hmm.
them's won the MVP last year. The other one has been an MVP candidate and one of the best offenses in the league. And the other guy's Brock Purdy, who I like better. So like, it's not like I don't mean to be shitting on him. I obviously
Oh no,
am just
yeah,
because I'm
sure.
angry, and hate the Bears. But, but yeah, I mean, I hear
This is
you.
your
Like,
platform, dude.
there is all the potential in the world for him. I mean, it's not like I've hid from the fact that I thought his potential was crazy, crazy high. Maybe I'm just annoyed at the Madden cover. I don't know. I don't like him more than these other guys in front of him. And I know he finished better than them last year, than a couple of them last year, but still never had 4,000 passing yards. Obviously the touchdown to interception ratio is pretty good, especially his first season. You're right, dealing with all the sacks he had. Um, but I don't know. I just don't see it being this transcendent year that other people think it's going to be.
So you have him at 6?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Good. Cool. I like it. I mean, we're getting to the nitty gritty here. It
All
was
right.
it was it was rough. This, like I said, hip shots that will be stapled to the wall now.
Yeah.
So for me, 5,
Did you say
what
6?
did my 6 was Jackson Dart.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So 5
And
for
then
you.
5 for me was Jordan Love. So
Okay. Nice.
yeah.
I don't even
So
have Jordan Love above him. You can't even, I'm not that much of a hater.
yeah,
But
you're all right, man. I think it's different strokes from different folks. Like it's the beginning in June. And yeah, there's optimism and then there's recency and then
hmm.
there's personal preference. It's all mixed together right now.
For sure. All right, well then I'll do my number 5. My number 5 is Jaden Daniels. And that to me is because I just think he's a huge wild card. Obviously he could not get out from the injury bug in 2025. They rested him at the end of the year to ensure that he would be ready for this season. And so that's a worry to me, just him getting hurt or them playing safe with him to not get him hurt and taking away one of the most dynamic parts of his game. I mean, it's about rushing, which made his rookie season tremendous. He had 891 yards and 6 touchdowns on his way to a QB5 season as a rookie QB. And if they take that away, I'm a little worried. And then honestly, his weapons aren't that great. Like you got Terry, he's amazing. No issues with Terry as a number one. But according to our lads, his number 2 wide receiver right now is Traylon Burks. Um, no thanks. I mean,
Rock and roll, baby.
Is Brandon Ayuk gonna come in? He's got a warrant out for his arrest. Thank you, every app on my phone for alerting me 17 times to that, by the way. And then Antonio Williams and Chico Conco are both guys that I like for Jaden Daniels. I think they have some upside there, but they're both unproven. I mean, we've been wanting Chig to be a guy back in his Tennessee days, and Antonio Williams is a rookie. So I'm just a little skeptical, but I think in terms of wild card ness, I think the ability to unlock Jaden Daniels could shoot him all the way to the QB1. Like I think, first of all, any of these guys in the top 5, probably with the exception of Brock Purdy, I think could be the QB1 in the NFC. And so he obviously is right there. He could do it. I guess I'm just a little worried that something's going to go wrong.
Hey, something could go wrong. Something could go right.
Yeah,
If he
for sure.
stays on the field, I think it's going to be a delight. There you go. Boom. Mic drop. So yeah, that 2024 season when he was a quarterback five, it was a lot of rushing. You're right. But Terry McLaurin, obviously led the team. Zach Ertz had 91 targets that year. Number three on the team was Olamide Zaccheaus, with Noah Brown being the fourth leading target gatherer. And then the rushing attack was beautiful. It was Brian Robinson Jr., 800 yards and eight touchdowns. What I'm saying is, if he got number five with that setup, obviously last year's setup was pretty decent. I think we all got excited about Debo, and he didn't get to really take advantage of that situation. But I think with Krosky Merritt, you got Rashad White in here, Antonio Williams, and then you got Chig coming in the tight end room. I think it's serviceable. I don't think there's not a deficit of talent. I think it's average as far as skill position goes, outside of Daniels, but I don't think he's without the ability to do whatever he wants to do. He might not
Yeah.
be elevated by the supporting staff, but I don't think he's going to be necessarily limited by it. I have him as one. I have him as number
Okay.
one
I
in a
thought so.
17 game season. I'm obviously, I don't know what it is with me in Washington, but here I am doing it again. But yeah, I got him as one for those reasons. I just think he's pretty spectacular,
Yeah.
really electric player. I mean, coming out last year, he played five of the first seven games and was averaging about 19 fantasy points per in those. Kind of just letting us know that he still has it, and that was only one rushing touchdown in that span. So if he can get back to getting some red zone action in. Um, I think there's the sky's the limit, as my old friend Dan used to say.
Yeah. Um, I mean, no, I'm with you in terms of the sky and the upside being the limit. Like I think he absolutely could end up as the QB1. It wouldn't shock me. We got to figure out this discrepancy between Fantasy Pros and Pro Football Reference because he's tied for 17th in terms of points per game. Now, obviously, this is both AFC and NFC for Fantasy Pro. So we got to figure out what's going on there. But no, I'm
Okay.
with you. He was at like 16.8, which isn't bad. That's good. But it just wasn't as high as what you have. So I'm curious what that's about. But no, I arguably should have had him higher. I think I'm just scared, but I think you're right. If he plays a 17 game season, he probably will end up at least in the top five of the full season. So yeah, I mean, he's probably somebody I could push up for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Up to one. Sorry, Stafford.
I don't know about that, but all right.
Okay.
So
So
who
put me
your
as
five was Love, right?
yes,
And
yes.
then
My four.
okay,
Is that where we're at?
yeah, that'd be where.
Okay. I've got Dak
Okay,
Prescott.
I have Dak at three.
Okay. Okay. Who was your four? That's
Brock Purdy.
Daniels. Oh, Brock. Pff, whatever. Moving on. Moving on. Um, okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's pretty clear. I think Dak, I guess it's too bad that he can't run like he did those first couple of years,
Yeah,
or it's just not a good thing to do, I guess, for him at this point after the ankle stuff. But dude, like, I don't know. I guess I have to go all the way back to talking about Matthew Stafford again to okay. I guess this 1-2 is not better than the Rams 1-2,
mm.
but it's in the conversation for the
You
top.
know, I don't know. With an
Yeah?
aging Adams, I think that's a
You think
conversation.
this could be number one?
Could be.
Okay. So
I
that's
don't
pretty
know.
much it.
It de
That's
yeah, I don't know. It depends on how much better you think Puka is than one of those guys.
Whoa. Okay. I don't think Puka's better than CeeDee Lamb.
Oof. Oofa.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're getting a preview of the NFC wide receiver. This is going to be a fun offseason shakeup. Isn't
It
this better
seems
than
like,
going division by division?
yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's going to be, the wind will be in it as well, long and powerful. But yeah, there's nothing changed for the
Yeah.
Cowboys on the
Mm-mm.
offense, and they obviously 600 passing attempts last year.
Yeah.
I think 30 touchdowns. I think there's like with this much action and this much yardage, like there's a world where that increases. So that's basically it. I think it has the potential to
Yeah.
sustain and possibly improve. I mean, I arguably should have had him higher than Caleb Williams, probably. I think I wanted to do that, but I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Dak at three, for all the reasons you said. I mean, it's hard to argue. And everyone's like, oh, the Cowboys defense is definitely going to be better than this year. They had two first round picks. It's like, okay, that's never not worked before. You're right. So that's a little, I think they will be in shootouts is basically what I'm saying still. Maybe not every game. They won't have as historically as bad of a defense as they did last year, but they want to score. They want to throw the ball. And we like Javante, and I hope he has a good season. But I'm with you. So there's not much to add. I mean, obviously he averaged 19 points per game last year, which was great, especially with no rushing. Uh, the every year curse for Dak Prescott is a little concerning. Every other year curse. I mean,
Hmm.
if you look at his last few years, sixth, 31st, third, 18th, 8th, 32nd, 2nd, 14th. You know, like that's the last 8 years for him is a little rough, a little weird. So hopefully he doesn't get hurt again, and he can actually keep that up. And then I will say, just throw this out there, he does have a tough sled leading up to the playoffs. He's got a week 14 bye, which is tough if you need to win to get in and you have him. But from weeks 11 to 15, he plays San Francisco, Tennessee, Philly, Seattle, and the Rams. That's going to be rough. But overall, I think, yeah, he's absolutely going to have a great season. And that's why I have him at three.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So
Makes
I
sense.
guess by process of elimination, your three would be Jalen Hurts.
That's correct.
Okay.
You've done it. I don't know. For Hertz, I still think three is a little optimistic. Let's see, by process of elimination, you have Hertz at two?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, it's been a while since he did that.
Yeah.
But you think that losing AJ Brown and adding Lemon is the secret sauce to making this sour Kool-Aid tastier?
Yeah, I kind of do. And maybe that doesn't make sense, but obviously the chemistry, at least on the field, was off with AJ Brown
Yeah,
and Jalen Hurts.
for sure.
I think Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper over there, is primed for a breakout season. And I really like the additions of Lemon and Dontavian Wicks for what that's worth.
Yes.
Sean Mannion comes over from Green Bay to be the new OC for the Eagles. That means we're going to see pre-snap motion, we're going to see play action, we're going to see rushing, a lot of running the ball, and scheming guys open as soon as the play starts, which I think will help Jalen Hurts. I think he um I don't know. Like it's like the over the field stuff he gets a little scared to do or over the middle of the field, and like this will help him. And getting the ball into these playmakers' hands will, I think, be awesome for him. And then I also think that means they're gonna run the ball with him more. I mean, Hertz had only 1 year of less than 10 rushing touchdowns since his second year, and it was last year with eight. I feel like that number is going to go back up, and it's not like they can't use Saquon out of the backfield again. They also took Eli Stowers
Yep.
for the tight end room, so there's multiple tight ends to throw to. Like I don't know that he'll end up being like any higher in like a franchise QB situation, but I actually think a more cohesive plan for what Jalen Hurts can be could work really well. And I think he's gonna end up. I think he puts up 10 rushing touchdowns again, and that's got a lot to do with it for me.
Yeah, I mean, he had 14 in 2024. It was only good for quarterback 8 on the year, so
Yeah.
he's gonna need to do it offensively too. So hopefully everything you said is correct. Wicks is definitely going to be a bump, and getting the OC connection there is probably going to definitely be more potent than what I would have anticipated prior to that beautiful nugget of information. But I think the real ad here is Carson Steele coming in to
Okay.
join the Eagles. So I think we all know that's going to put him over the top. So Super Bowl incoming, no problem at
There
all.
it is.
But yeah, Hurts is a tough guy to really
Yeah.
argue against. But honestly, I don't know um, if I would look for him to be very high up at the tip, at the peak of the mountain. So I've got him at 3, you've got him at 2. I guess
It's
we're
not that far
arguing,
off.
yeah, that
I
he's doing pretty damn well. We know what to
this
expect from him.
the same way I argue that some of the other guys below him could end up as the QB1. I could also see this not working the way I think it's going to work. But in terms of just like optimistically me looking at it, um, in fact, I guess as a Packers fan, I hope it doesn't work this way. But I just that's I don't know. It was tough doing these rankings, and I don't know. I
Yes,
went with my gut.
this is it. We just broke into the summer program, and a lot of guts got went with on this one, and we'll see how we shape up.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll see how it
see,
goes.
get it tightened up for next week. But yeah, no. So number one for me is Daniels. Number one for you is Stafford,
Yep.
and we've got beautiful debates. We've already previewed several showdowns to come this season, so pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I'm pumped. So we will be hitting you next week with the AFC version of this discussion. But until then, we've been Rough Draft Research. You've been the audience, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Thinking we used to